Hey everyone, this is Diane, just coming back on here, but I do want to talk about something that's very kind of personal, but also something I've been kind of nudging and hinting a little bit here and there on my social media. I know some of you guys already know, but my dad has finally allowed me to start talking more about what I'm doing in order to help him. I am his primary caregiver, but I will not show pictures of him or any of that, as much privacy as I can give him regarding that. But he is okay with me talking about caregiving and stuff about caregiving and just my experiences with caregiving and tips and tricks and all that stuff with what I'm going through with him and my family. So, as his primary caregiver, I just want to let y'all know I'm very busy. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a 9 credit hour college student right now. I was full-time, then realized I couldn't handle it because of all that stuff that's going on. I probably could have handled it, but honestly, if my priorities were not focused on family more than my education, then I would have been probably be okay with a 12 credit hour. But because I love my dad very much, and I know you guys have seen a video before of me holding his hand or going out to him on coffee shops before. We didn't really talk about it too much with a lot of people, but a little bit of my story with my dad on that portion of my life. He's still here, which I am very happy for, and I absolutely love him. I absolutely adore him. Honestly, I've come to learn to love more because of him, and his presence is a lot and very important for me, just his presence in itself. And I honestly remember telling him one time, I said, "Dad, you don't have to do anything because honestly, your presence is more important than what you can do for me right now." And his presence has been so amazing, so touching. Yes, we have struggles, but I love him so much. God has taught me so much throughout my life, and I feel like I don't even feel like I have a doubt, feeling like I have been prepared for this situation way when I was very young. And if you knew all of my story, or if you knew parts of my story, and if I ever let other people know about my story, which I hope to do in the future, but I haven't had the time to really focus and make that very formulated in order to speak more in a more clear way, but also more touching way for you all to understand that God is really working intricately in all of our lives. And in my life, I have seen God over and over again, even though I doubted it like a billion times. Like, I'm like, why am I going through this? Why do I have to feel this? Why do I have to struggle? Why did I have to get sick a billion times? And now I'm starting to understand that my troubles, my pain, my past, my history has been a training ground to help my dad. And that's not the only thing that he's been training me for. Not just my dad. He's been training me for a lot of things. And honestly, I've been learning a lot about the fruit of the Spirit, and God has just been very gracious and merciful and justice and love and everything you can ever think of. And even though when things seem dim and you feel like nothing is gonna go any better, get any better, honestly, this world is just temporary. And if you're a Christian, all the struggle you earn here, all the struggle you go through, all the trials, all the tribulations you go through here is nothing compared to the eternity where you will have joy in heaven with him. And honestly, I'm just very happy that my dad is allowing me to talk about my journey. Of course, as much dignity and respect as I can possibly do as a human being for my father. But I love him very, very much. And honestly, I am just grateful for him, for everything he's ever done, even every single thing, every issue, every imperfection. And honestly, I really hope that I can do the very most. And honestly, I wish I could do so much more just for my dad, because I love him very much. I'm like literally his buddy, because we would always go out together. We would have father-daughter dates. Even while in my college a while back, we would go on father-daughter dates. We would go shopping at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, and we would go shopping. It's just me and him. And we would go to Tim Hortons to drink coffee, sometimes Dunkin' Donuts. We would get a donut or like some coffee. Sometimes we'd go to Wendy's in the breakfast morning. We would go get boba. We just had the blast. And honestly, though sometimes I feel like some of those things weren't the best and healthiest things to do, it is healthy to have balance. And life is life. And there are different spectrums regarding those issues, but as a dietetic student, I have come to learn more and more about diet and how context matters so much, not only in diet, but also in life and in everything else in life. Context is so important. And I think that's why I love the wisdom that I think it was Solomon who said, a time for everything, a time to cry, a time to laugh, a time for joy, a time for peace, a time for war, a time for everything, a time to do certain things, time to do chores, time to do studies, time to love your family. And honestly, I've learned so much through this journey, and I feel like it's a disservice not to let other people know that caregivers have a really major role. And honestly, it's a very sacrificial role. And I don't get paid for being a primary caregiver to my mom and dad, but I do have a place to stay, and I have food on my table. I can eat food. I have a warm place to be in. I have a blanket. I have clothes. And I just feel blessed, because even though I'm serving my parents for so long, I still hope to serve them so much longer. When I was little, I used to tell them all the time, Mom, Dad, when you guys get really old, I will take care of both of you. And I can't believe, and honestly, I'm shocked, because God is literally allowing that to happen. It might not be the very best things that I feel sometimes, and I feel like I want to cry sometimes, but God has showed me that He has really led me through all life, my entire life. Even though some of them were really confusing and I didn't understand, God has really been there, and I have no doubt about it. And even though I may feel hurt or doubt His love sometimes, He's been there. And He, time and time again, He would show me He loves me, even in my doubts. Okay, I'm crying. So my video is almost ending because I don't have that much storage. But God has been so good. And I'm just excited to talk about what we can all learn from each other. And not only me, from a whole plethora of people. I think people are valuable because they are mind gold. They're not just mind gold because of what they can do, what they know, but because they're valuable, because they are people. And people are valuable. And people, God created them in His own image and are worth is in God. And He loves people. He loves all of us. He created us to love Him back. But it's our choice. And I've come to learn that a whole lot of things more because of everything I've ever been through. And honestly, even though I've been through so many struggles, I can finally say more and more every single day of my life, I don't regret. I used to tell myself when I was younger, I was in so much pain. I was like, I want to make my life the best it can be because I don't want any regrets. And I've come to realize that sometimes struggles help us to not regret. And I totally agree.